Hi, this is Aaron Russell, head coach of your Richmond Spiders women's basketball team, and you are watching the LegacyMaker Sports Network.
LegacyMaker, the all sports network.
Welcome to the Season 4 premiere of Commonwealth Sports Talk with your hosts, Joe Dillard Jr. and Lamonte. This week's special guest, Ivana Rich, Norfolk State Associate Athletic Director for Academics.
Welcome to Commonwealth Sports Talk. I'm your host, Joe D, bringing you another season as we give you Season 4. My co-host, Lamont Thomas. How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
It's almost as rhythmic now. So we're back at it for Season 4 as we have our first guest coming on, Ivana Rich from Norfolk State University. Again, this podcast is designed to spread knowledge, teach, and inform the listener and viewer about the positive advancement of Virginia athletes born or raised, and definitely born and raised. So let's go ahead and tune into it. And as you know, this is brought to you by LegacyMaker Sports, Grind and Pray, and yours truly at Commonwealth Sports Talk. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Appreciate your time and thank you for joining us. Welcome to Commonwealth Sports. We have a great guest and show for you today as we bring you Ivana Rich from Norfolk State University. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what your position is at Norfolk State.
Okay, well, currently I serve as the Associate Athletics Director for Academics and the Chief Diversity Officer for our department. But I've been in sports all my life. Grew up in Cumberland County, Virginia, a small town with no stoplights. I played sports there, went on to play volleyball at VCU. And then upon graduating from VCU, I started my career in coaching. So I coached volleyball at the Division I and Division II level before transitioning into academic support. So that journey has brought me here to my role at Norfolk State.
That's dope. That's dope. So someone with such a background in volleyball, I'm pretty sure you understand the dynamic of how hard it is to be a student athlete in your position that you host with the academic services. Talk to us a little bit about how you guide your kids in their right routes, paths, and opportunities with their academic careers along with being student athletes.
Absolutely. So, I have a personal testament to how hard it is to be a student athlete. When I was a student athlete at VCU, my freshman year, I went into it with wide eyes, thought I had all the answers, thought I had it all together, but I struggled significantly my first year, trying to manage the academic piece and then, being a Division I athlete, traveling, missing a lot of classes. And so, I felt it firsthand how hard that transition can be. And so I really use my experience as a student athlete with my student athletes at Norfolk State. And, I understand their struggles. And, I try to tell them early on that being an athlete and a student in college is much different in high school. This journey is going to challenge you, it's going to test you. And so I do my best to try to support them any way I can and make sure they're aware of, the circumstances and situations. I try to provide them with a resource to make that transition a little bit better and a little bit easier.
That's dope.
Absolutely, it is. It is dope. Hey, so that's a little bit about the passion meets purpose, part of what you do. So let's talk about that. You've given us insight about how you even have certain things set up for your student athletes to where they can come in and do their work or their study in front of you, right? And they have access to you directly, right? Like, talk a little bit about that special relationship that you have with some of your student athletes and why it's so important for you to turn your experience that you've just given us, now into a resource for the ones that's come after you.
So one word you said is key, and that's relationships. One thing I've learned during my time in academics, how important relationships really are to student athletes, especially with them being away from home. They're away from their original support system, so they need to build a new support system while they're in college. And so we are a really, really crucial part of that support system. And so I work with my student athletes very closely, and I build those relationships with them, and I meet them where they are. All of them come from different backgrounds. They come from different educational levels, different desires, different motivations. And so, we do not use a cookie cutter approach. I like to say, I try to make sure I use an individualized approach. Who you are is who I'm going to meet you at, and I'm going to help you to, number one, identify your goals, where you want to go, what your passions are, what's going to motivate you, and then help you reach those goals. And I think, in terms of like availability, we we really take that availability part serious. My cell phone, I always make the joke that my cell phone is public, my cell phone number is public information. And it really is. And so my student athletes, they have access to me 24/7. I try to find some balance with them, and they're, getting better with making sure they are proactive, so they don't have to call me on a Saturday night.
Right.
But they know they have the opportunity to really connect with me. If they need me, I'm going to be there, whether I'm on campus or off campus. So I think that relationship right there just helps them feel more comfortable and know they're really supported while they're competing in Norfolk State.
That's as real as it gets.
That is. And I mean, like, you have to think your ability to be successful at every step of the route. And I go all the way back to being an athlete, as we talk about being a volleyball player and having to endure some of the obstacles that come with being a volleyball player. And I think you know where I'm going with this. So, talk to me a little more about how your adversities brought you to the forefront. Your adversities allowed you to be wide ranged and be able to do a lot of different tasks. You have multiple hats you carry on. So talk to me a little bit about the experience of a volleyball player. Traditionally, it's not a lot of African-American women when you play travel or club. On top of that, it can be expensive. And so sometimes a lot of people are not privy to that opportunity to have club volleyball or to grow up in that opportunity, seeing, good competition, the college coaches, the opportunities that are available for everybody. Talk to me about your experience with that.
Well, that really hits home for me, as a school volleyball player from a small town, you don't get a lot of exposure. And so I had to travel a whole hour to play club volleyball, something that I would not have known about until I played in our district championship, my junior year, district championship. One of the officials talked to my mom after the game, was like, "Have you guys ever heard of this? Your daughter should come try to try out for the team." So if that wouldn't have occurred, I wouldn't even have had that opportunity. But, travel volleyball itself is an expensive sport. And so I was fortunate enough that I club that I played for, I was actually on a scholarship.
That's awesome.
So they helped us out financially, because it was a heavy burden on my parents to be able to afford that. And then even with the transportation piece, having to drive that far 3 times a week and then do the travel on top of that on the weekend.
Yes.
It's a big burden.
That's a grind.
Absolutely. And so when you talk about access and some of the disparities that may come from that, volleyball traditionally is not a sport that you see a lot of colored faces. And so, so from both of my travel teams, I was the only Black girl on the team. And so I learned that early on about the culture of volleyball. And then when I got to college, my freshman year, that continued. I was the only Black girl on that team. I played on a team where there are a lot of international players. It was just me, trying to adapt to the environment. So that was definitely very challenging and very eye-opening. But our program, our coach was committed to diversity, which was amazing. And so he recruited some more players, so our team became more diverse my second year there. But it was a struggle, and it was a struggle for me that first year, to the point where I was unsure of my future there because of that. I wanted to be in a place where I felt like I was comfortable, and then I was going to be supported. And so my coaches made that happen for me. And I can't say that happens everywhere, but I was very fortunate in my situation that my coaches did make that happen for me.
And you know what? And I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of times people don't realize the perception in the whole grand scheme of things. Like when we talk, I had a young kid that I coached, and he was like, well, this coach did X, Y, Z. And I said, have you ever thought about what pressures that coach faces? And so when you look at your situation, the perception of it is that you're the only African-American woman your freshman year, but there are women there that have a language barrier on top of possibly a color barrier. So there's so many different ways that it can be affected, that you had the ability to see yours, see others, understand, relate. And I think you do an awesome job of implying it now with your job. And so that's something that I see coming from the ground up that you've taken and run with. Like the vision that you possess, it has success written all over it because of the in person, the caring, the reaching out, and the efforts that you put forth. And it shows. It definitely shows. So how do you handle having all these hats on your head? I mean, you have like many roles you can do, and I'm sure that you are intrigued to do more because, and when you love it, it's not work. And something that we notice is that you've been everywhere since college as an athlete where you probably have loved your job. Not a lot of people can say that, where they graduated college and they've loved their job every step of the way. So talk to me about how you're able to wear so many hats, and how did you develop those patterns and those work ethics along with being able to take on new tasks?
Well, I would say I developed it early on. When I was in high school, I was a tri-sport athlete. So I was always active, played sports.
I remember that. We got to go back. So look, and most people, LT, play two sports. And so they are called, what was the term we were talking about? Two sport athlete. Everybody knows two sport athlete.
But she said three.
Try.
Cumberland on her back, though.
Did you win states by yourself? No, let me stop.
No. I had great teammates. Shout out to my teammates.
There you go. That's sports life right there. So talk to us about it, though. Three sports, though?
Right. So three sports. So it's always in something. Also, my dad was a coach. He was our football coach. So, it was like in our blood. And then during the times where I was playing club volleyball, I was also playing basketball. Basketball was my first sport, first love. And so I would, go to school all day. I went to a governor's school, so I went to school at Longwood University for half the day. Came back to my regular school for the other half. Practice for, right after school, and then I would drive to Richmond, do my club practice, and drive home and do my homework. So this grind started early on. And so it has kind of really carried over and evolved as I got older.
So when they say do two or three things, you're like, I ain't gonna let them see that, but I'm
one net, one ball, two schools, by herself, in the gym, at home, all day, every day. I love it.
So women in sports, let's talk about that, because there's been such recognition for women in sports recently, and we at Commonwealth Sports have done a great job trying to give that recognition as well as we finish season 3 in Women's Sports Month, Women's History Month, not sports. And talk to me a little bit about that. Like, how do you feel? Do you feel pressure? I know as a Black man in a world where we sometimes have been given this stereotype, I feel like I have to defend it constantly. Do you feel like you have to defend constantly being a woman in sports, being that you have to prove yourself, or how do you take that challenge on?
I would say, I used to put more pressure on myself before, but, with the success that women have had recently, it's helped us. It's really helped us to really believe in ourselves, to really secure seats at the table. So now, I'm to the phase where it's like show out phase. We're here, let's show up and show out. And so, it's definitely, I'm so happy about the progress that we have made as women in sports, and more so excited about the future. Every day you're seeing a story about a woman just breaking barriers, and I just love to see it. Like, gives me chills about the different things women are doing in all aspects of sports, in football, NFL, NBA. Look at Maria Taylor. I've been watching her. I know her from early on in my career. So I've been watching her just transition through her career. So like, I love to see it.
I will be
Yeah.
honest. I did try to look to see what Maria Taylor is making at NBC because she turned down $3 million. And I know it was principle. I know there's a lot of principle with that story because I followed all of it. But I was like, man, she got to be worth $5-6 million now messing with NBC because NBC wanted her. There's a difference when you're wanted versus you're qualified. Qualified means you're capable of doing the job. Wanted means you can almost call your shot. And so that Maria Taylor situation is very intriguing.
Yeah, rumor has it that we might turn around and see her on NFL, maybe even Sunday night. So,
Well, no, she's going to get that chance. NBC
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football. She's going to
Yeah.
get all of the sports chances that NBC has to offer, and they hold better titles than a and I don't want to say bland because we live off of ESPN, but than a commercialized ESPN.
right.
NBC has the Olympics. They have the finals.
Right.
They have the Preakness. They have different events that are humongous. And
Right.
to hear that voice, you know what I'm saying? That's how you become somebody etched in
Right.
stone with that voice. So
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
she's in the right direction with her decision.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that though. You were talking about your opportunities, and the fact that you had to do so much with, an opportunity that wasn't so wide at first. So I kind of want to talk to you now about that scope being widened, like you said, with all the traction that women have gotten in sports. I want to get your opinion on what you think about, the Renee Montgomerys of the world, the Atlanta Dream, becoming a former WNBA player, now executive part owner of the team, like, that kind of stuff. Like, what does that mean for you when you see that in today's world?
I mean, it means everything. And to me, it means that, little Black girls all around the world can see that they can do this.
Yes.
They can do this. Like, it doesn't matter that they're Black. It doesn't matter that they're a woman. It doesn't matter where they come from, but they can achieve these things. And I think those examples are so important for young women, who are aspiring, because the field of athletics, sport management, women are really going into that field and they really want to make a difference and they want to advance. And so, it gives a lot of women hope because they know they're probably going to have to, fight through some barriers. And so it gives them hope to see that, yes, I can achieve this one day. I can do this. Sometimes that's what it takes to be able to see somebody do it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you come behind them and really emulate them and do it for yourself.
Yeah, Joe, talk to them about the athletic directors in Virginia.
You took the words right out of my mouth. And I was just thinking that too, to the point where most of them are women. And a lot of people aren't aware of that. We're talking about Virginia State, Virginia Union, Norfolk State, UVA. These are all women athletic directors and their programs are thriving. And so I just wanted to give so much credit and respect to those women in the state that are putting in that groundwork. One thing you have to notice is that when you have Renee Montgomerys, when you have Peggy Davises, when you have different ladies in position that are leading, you have a goal now that continues. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I've learned for myself is that when you coach or when you have a job you love, you never want to give it up because then you think your life, like what's next? You know what I'm saying? That what's next feeling. So when you're in a career path that is always driving or driven by women who are trailblazing the market, I think that is just something that it can only insinuate more women to want to be there. And people aren't realizing how many are already there. And so I think this is a forefront that a lot of people are starting to like kind of see, like, there are women in sports. There are a lot of women that are controlling sports. There are a lot of women that know the sport. And so I think that the pigheadedness needs to really kind of go out, with all of the racism, because you have to have an open mind toward everything you approach. And I think that's something you pass on to your students as an advisor. You have to have an open mind. It's not a direct path with you being an athlete or a sports athlete or on scholarship, there's no direct path. Because if it was, Miss Rich wouldn't have a job. If it was, these coaches wouldn't be getting credit, when it comes to these umbrellas that they build, these
Right.
families and communities that come back and support their programs. So you definitely have to find a way to make your own mark, but at the same time, follow suit. And so I think that's something that you're in a position of love. Like I never thought. So this is what I said. I was like, I'm never going to be a sports medicine person. Just too much medicine. I'm not going to know the body. The anatomy is too much. All the body parts and then bringing it together. I said, so that's gone. Then you think about sports and advising and administrative advising. And that's what you do. And you have made me very intrigued with it because of the impact that you could have. I think I spoke to you before and we talked about how my position is separate from the kid, the ability to affect the kid in a positive light. And so it kind of got bored writing permits all day, which is why I took on coaching basketball and track, because I need to interact and help that kid see the light or the light bulb click on. And that makes my job feel like I don't work. And I'll shoot for that every day of the week, Definitely. So I know you have plenty of chances to get that feeling. And I know that's a pure joy when they have that light bulb come on. Talk to me a little bit about that. When you've had a kid come back to you and go, I just can't believe it. You pushed me through. I just didn't see it. I mean, because you've been there. How many years is this now? Year 5 or 6, I believe?
6. This is year 6.
6. Good. I don't want to slight any years. So 6, not 5. We earned them 365s.
Right,
So
right.
Talk to me about a kid that might have come back and talked to you and was like, I didn't see it. You might not have saw it, but when they come back, it's like a full circle moment.
Yeah, well, we have students that come from different backgrounds, different levels, and some of them you really have to will them to the finish line. They might not believe in themselves that they can get through and walk across that stage and graduate. And so I have quite a few stories of student athletes like that. And those are actually some of my favorite student athletes. Like my staff, they laugh at me. They're like, you like the toughest athletes. You like the toughest cases. And I was like, yes, those are my favorite, because that means I really have to dig in. I really have to, find a way to make them believe in themselves.
But it's the joy they give you back, I think, too, because they don't have nobody in their corner. So when you show them you got their back and then now they run through a wall for you, you don't even coach them, Miss Rich, and you're in the position that they'll run through a wall for you. Like, that's gotta be dope. Like
it really is though. Like when you think about it, like from being like a coach into being in this type of role, like it really is though. Like they keep me going, like it's really a labor of love. Like when you can come in and they just bring you joy, and even on the tough days, like it's totally worth it. To be able to come in and really impact lives in that way. And like, I have student athletes that have graduated and they come and see me all the time. They come and mess with me all the time. They just stop by my office, and I love to see it. Like, that's you on my wall. Because that's my most difficult cases. I always take pictures of them on graduation day and I put them on. And they're so embarrassed. Like, no, why do you have that picture? Because like, I need everybody to know what we went through to get
exactly.
Right.
Grind is real. That's why I got the picture up there. I need people to know it's real.
Right, and it's so ironic, right? Because they play sports, right? They happen to be in sports, and you go from just wanting to see them win, athletically, physically, and then it kind of, transcends to you want to see them win at everything they do in life, right? Like you want to see them graduate, you want to see them get in the career they want, you want to see them become moms and dads, like, just be better people. And the fact that
freshman and sophomore year, they don't know her. They don't want to know her freshman and sophomore year.
Right. Try to stay away. Right.
Like, well, you want to talk today? Mm-mm.
Right. You the principal at first.
Right. But I catch him in the hallway. Like I walk around. Like, are you Miss Rich? Yes. Hello. Come on. Right. Come talk to me.
Right.
I was just looking for you. No, you won't. You was looking to not be seen. That's what you was
right.
Yeah. That's good though.
Man.
That's good. That's what you want, and I understand how that's something that gives you joy and keeps you going that way you do, and even pushes you to do more. As you have done so much already. I understand how that could be a propelling motivation for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what message can you give these young ladies that are inspired to be a Ivana Rich, to be a lady of leadership, to be a woman of their own independently? What is the message you have for them to carry forward?
I would definitely say believe in yourself and work hard day in and day out for your dreams. And then when you get to a position where you are in a role to influence others, lift as you rise. Bring other women with you. I'm really big
Yes.
on mentoring and bringing
Yes,
people up with you.
it
So,
is.
use your connections, use your network. We're out here, like I always take calls, texts, emails, and if somebody wants to chat about the business or what they should do. Use your network. We're out here. We're willing to help you. We want to see you win too.
Yes. Lift up as we rise. Like, I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I
That's
like
a good
that.
one.
So important.
Wow. So, and I really appreciate good gems being passed on this show. And it seems like a lot of times they're not premeditated. And so when they just slide right on in, everybody does that head nod and you understand what it means. And so I'm hoping our audience gets that message as well as we continue to try to pitch that message to everybody listening. So once again, we'd love to thank you for your time, your efforts, your grind, your Virginia dedication, because you've been all throughout Virginia with VCU, with Virginia State, with Norfolk State, from the root to the toot. You know what I'm saying? So we are very humbled to have you in our state doing your work and supplying these young kids with opportunities and visions. So thank you for
Thank
your
you,
time.
guys.
For sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes,
And thank you for joining us at Commonwealth Sports Talk. We'll see you next week. You guys have a good one.
Thanks.
You're the best. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'm so sorry I was late. I wasn't feeling that well. I fell asleep and I started dreaming these crazy dreams.
Oh
The dreams came because they woke me up. I was like, oh my God, it's 9:00.
We must be peas in a pod because I went to check on
I'm
my
just gonna say-
lady and it was 4:30 and I told Lamont and I was like, I woke up at 8:20 like, whoa.
You would have laughed at our conversation because it happened every single one of us at the same time. Me, I was on a road trip. I was coming back from DC and I actually didn't get back to almost 8. So all three of us were just like, dang.
He's like, Joe, we still doing it? I'm like, doing what? Oh no. I was like, oh, I said, I'm going to the store to grab some orange juice. I'll be right back. We setting it up, bro. Like,
I was in here
how that
setting up
slipped by
myself.
us.
Are we good? We did it. We made it.
That's how we
We did
roll,
it.
though. We get it in when we fit in.
Right.
We appreciate you so much.
Remember,
No
media,
problem.
we're coming. Remember, media,
I
Legacy
got you.
Maker's
I
coming.
got you. I will not forget y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Reach out to me. I got you.
Oh, yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. We appreciate you. And I will reach out to you again in regards to that because it's going to be for basketball as well. So it's going to be
Okay.
early that I kind of reach out for that.
Gotcha.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank-
welcome. You guys have a great night.
All right. You too. Norfolk State's blowing the hell up.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
While you're quietly, and it ain't because they're on Commonwealth. I tell you that.
They coming on their own.
It ain't because they're on Commonwealth Sports Talk. I could tell you that right now.
Yeah.
It's more so about the fact that their basketball program, their growth, their room for opportunity, like they've got the blueprint and the people in place to put them in position. So I've been watching.
Yeah.
Little Virginia State is what they used to
Got-
call them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little
They doing
Virginia State.
They doing it.
Behold their green and gold. Remember I told you
Yeah.
I said when I get them on, I'll give them their shout out. Behold their green and gold. I say
Right.
it wrong on purpose every time because I am 1882 built. So
All right.
much love, much love. What you got for me, man? You ain't got nothing on there about the wrap up 4 seasons, bro.
Oh man, it's crazy, man. It's been crazy, and I think like we were just talking about, a win for anybody who's been on this show is a win for all of us, and that's really the basis of this show, right? Is we trying to give back, we trying to show the positive advancement, of Virginia athletes, and that's exactly what it is, right? It's advancement. we're breaking down the stages of everybody's career, but it's not finished yet, right? Because not the legacy is being built one brick at a time, and being able to actually watch the inside of that on Commonwealth Sports Talk is amazing.
That's the roses, man. We stay trying to throw these roses. You know what I'm saying? Karen Barefoot, I'm throwing roses to you. I need you on the show. Menchville High School, University of UNC coach out there in North Carolina doing her thing. Need you on the show. I mean, we just reaching out. It's the flowers. It has nothing with making our show. It has nothing with, you know, us getting them notoriety. It's just more about showing the love to those we see grinding. And when you grinding, you definitely need people to show you the support and love, because sometimes you miss it. You got your head down, you working hard, you don't appreciate the process. So here we are at Commonwealth trying to let these people appreciate the process, just like our intro. All past guests now. The intro shows the highlights from all past guests now. I get it. The intro from the original was all Virginians. We're still going to keep you with all Virginians, but the ones that have come on, we're going to continue to show you love. It's not no do an interview for me, see what you could do for me. It's the ways that we continue to give back. So I think it's dope, bro.
Yes, sir.
Roundtable talk kind of went all around the table, and that's how we do here at Commonwealth Sports Talk. So tune in for episode 2. We have a good one coming for you. I'll leave that name quiet this time, but I'll promote it so you'll find ways to see it. Thank you for joining.
Commonwealth Sports Talk.